What up, y'all? Mike back again. Doing the video I initially intended to do first before I uploaded the last one. My mood is still shit, but I want to do this. I really want to do this. So, let's knock it out. On my video of the Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die album review, somebody requested that I do a list of my favorite movies. Now, I love shouting out my subscribers, but I can't remember who it was. I think it was the picture was Tupac on a profile pic. I think it was maybe a foreign cat. You know, shout out to him. So yesterday I compiled a list of 50 movies, and I was gonna take 25 from that 50 list and put it on my top 25 movies of all time. It was impossible. I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't do it. I kept scratching movies out, swapping movies. It was hell. Even if I did a top 50, fuck that. It's way too much. So, I'm terrible at lists. So what I'm going to do is review all of them periodically. You know what I mean? I figure I'll do that. And same for people that ask me about my top 25 hip-hop albums of all time. I don't think I can do that either. So, the 90s is my favorite decade. So I'll do my top 25 albums of each year in the 90s. That'll be done periodically as well. So, yeah, what way to start off talking about movies than your favorite movie of all time? And I'm talking about the 1983 Brian De Palma directed masterpiece, Scarface. A remake of the 1932 movie Scarface, which the Brian De Palma directed Scarface wipes the fucking mat with that 32 movie. I respect it. Without that movie, wouldn't be this, but this is much, much better. How did I first get into this movie? Well, first time I was aware of the movie was in 1996. I remember this moment like it was yesterday. The night after I recorded WWF WrestleMania 12, because I recorded all the pay-per-views that I ordered. I went downstairs to get the VHS out the VCR, and when I was doing that, you know, my granddad always was in my living room. You know, he was on the couch sleeping, knocked the fuck out. He would let movies run on HBO and stuff. And when I get the VHS out, I see on the TV this dude in a suit shooting shit up, blasting dudes, talking shit to him. And I'm like, wow. I thought it was the coolest shit ever. And I sat there and watched the remainder of it. It was at the end. Anyway, I was floored. I needed to see this again. I know 11-year-olds shouldn't be watching such a psychotic film, but I needed to see it again. I asked my uncle, yo, you ever see a movie with a dude? I don't know the name of the movie at this time. A movie with a dude just shooting people, and at the end he gets shot in the back and he falls in a pool. Even though it's not really a pool, it's like a fountain. You know, next to the World Is Yours globe in his Tony's mansion. He's like, yes, that's Scarface. I was like, wow, I gotta see that. So that's where the rapper got his name from the Ghetto Boys. Started connecting shit, you know what I mean? But it wouldn't be until like 2002 when I would first see the film. Now, that's crazy, right? I already had hella hip-hop albums that spoke on this and borrowed, you know, shit from this. And I didn't even connect the two. I just didn't. Never asked my uncle. I'm pretty sure he could have fucking told me. He's seen this movie. But no, I just, whatever the case may be, never did. And you know, no friends of mine ever talked about it back then until it was my sophomore year of high school in 2002. I was in the lunchroom with my best friend Ray, who's currently doing a bid right now. He's like, "Yo, you ever see the movie Scarface, man?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "What? As much hip hop as you listen to, you haven't seen the movie Scarface?" The reason why he said that, because this is popular in the urban culture and in hip hop. It is. And I was like, "Nah." He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna bring you to my crib and give you my copy to borrow." I'm like, "Okay." So we get to his crib, we smoke out, and he hands me the DVD. And his DVD is a bootleg. It's this cover, which would look good for a bootleg though. It was this cover. The back was not this. It was just a bunch of fucking writing in like Japanese or some shit, right? I'm like, "Yo, where the fuck did you get this?" He's like, "I got it online, overseas." Because at that time, and by what I've been through, I'll tell you, this had to be out of print. I'll tell you why. Because, well, I'll get to this. So I'm like, okay. I borrowed the DVD. It wouldn't work in my DVD player for some reason. And I had an old DVD player model, probably from 98, 99. I can't remember. So I used it on the PS2. You know what I mean? And it worked. It worked, surprisingly. Fine. It worked fine. It looked good, too. For a bootleg, you know what I mean? So, when I was watching that, I swear to God, to this day, to this very day, I never had the most enjoyable experience of watching a movie than I did watching Scarface in its entirety for the very first time. It was amazing. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Why? Because I was catching everything that I heard on the hip hop albums that I owned for years for the first time. Bigamy! Are you kidding me or what, man? There's Colombians coming in Friday. New guys. You know, when Omar's talking to Tony. That's on Reasonable Doubt, the intro. Not the actual scene, but pain in the ass. He's like a Rockefeller Records associate, and he's funny as hell. He reenacted that for the intro of Reasonable Doubt. Fucking when Sosa is arguing with Tony Montana because he didn't kill that reporter or whatever. "I told you a long time ago, you fucking little monkey, not to fuck me. Hey, who the fuck you think you're talking to, huh?" You know that? Criminology on Raekwon's Only with Cuban Links. The main score, the main song in this movie, Mobb Deep, It's Mine, featuring Nas off Murder Music. And countless fucking other shit, like all the Ghetto Boys skits, like off that first album. Well, not first album, you know, the first one with the classic lineup. All from here, you know. Don't fuck with me. All that shit. That's where that's from. That's where that's from. I'm marking the fuck out. It was enjoyable. It was like losing your virginity watching this movie and being a hip hop head. That's what it felt like. It was amazing. I highly enjoyed it. It was amazing. Then you realize how classic and how iconic this film is by seeing that shit. You know what I mean? I was just floored. That's where that's from. That's like connecting everything. And I heard the name Tony Montana so many times in hip hop, so I'm like, you know what? That's where that's from. You know? I seen it so late. And after my boy Ray wanted his copy back because he watched it on the reg. I gave him his copy back. And I swear to God, as soon as I gave him his copy back, I was on the hunt. Okay? I went to my local record store, probably FYE by this time. If not, it was still called Record Town. I'm pretty sure it was FYE in 2002. So I get there, nothing. I went in the drama section, where I think this is placed. Nothing. I asked the fucking employees. They said, no, we don't have that. I go to Dartmouth. Nope, no luck. I go to fucking Boston. No luck. My cousin's boyfriend at the time looks it up for me. Online. It's going for $50 to $60. I think it was out of print. You know? And I was like, what the fuck? So, I go to Bob's Video. It was this place. It was a video store, but also like a pawn shop because it sold CDs and action figures and all kind of merch, video games and shit, you know, comic books. So I get there and I see this there. This actual copy I'm holding, and it was like the feeling that I had when I seen that was like Christmas Day, over enjoyment. I didn't give a fuck how much it was. I was willing to throw down that day. It was $40. This is $40. Immaculate condition. Bought it ASAP. Had to have it. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I scooped it up. This is 2002. A year after that, I would be amazed when I did the re-release. And I got it. I was so fucking stoked. It comes with an amazing documentary. It's mad short though, on how hip hop was influenced by it. There's a soundtrack for it as well. I had to have it. This is incredible. This pressing of it. I need a Blu-ray. I'm gonna get the Steelbook one day. So, yeah. Got it for myself, watched it again, and loved it. Like, it became my favorite movie from that point on, and nothing can top it in my opinion. I probably like movies like Goodfellas a little bit more, but it's still my favorite. It's impeccable. Now, to my review. You know, it takes place in 1980. Fidel Castro had something called the Mariel Boat Lift in 1980, and mad Cubans were transported to the United States, and with doing that, you get a lot of bad apples. So there's a lot of Cuban criminals that was in that bunch, and you know, Tony was one of them. He's a criminal / hitman or whatever you want to call it. So he is grilled by the authorities for that, and they kick him out and move him to Freedom Town. And while he's there, his best friend Manny, says to him, you know, we got a green card and a job. All we got to do is, you know, do a hit. And the hit was on Emilio Rabanga, who was a communist, and he tortured the brother of Frank Lopez, you know, their future boss. And they had to do that job. So Emilio goes in like this. He's walking around and all chaos is happening around him. He goes like in this, like, looks like a camp or some shit. He goes in there and there's mad Cubans with fucking 2x4s and shit like that. And they're doing Libertad, whatever the fuck that means. And they're all saying that shit. And he's trying to get scurry out of there. And Tony catches up to him, stabs him in the gut. From a friend you fucked, you know. And he falls and bleeds out and dies. So after that, they get a job in Little Havana in Miami, and they're dishwashers and shit. And Omar and this dude rolls up at their job and wants to talk to him. And they basically have a job for them. They getting marijuana off a boat. I think that was it. And 500 each or something like that. And Tony knew it was bullshit. He was like, yo. Doing that shit that's like 1,000 a night. You know that, you know. And he's like, what's with this dishwasher, Chico? Omar says that, and Tony just flips out. He's like, I'll kick your fucking monkey ass all over this place, you know? And, fucking, he's like, okay. Well, Omar's partner whispers to him, like, Colombians. They're trying to set him up, and they do, and it's fucked. So he said, okay, big man, want me some big bucks, you know? He's like, he gives him a job of getting coke from Colombians, and if it is what they say it is, you pay him and you bring it back. He does that, he gets $5,000. And Tony's like, alright, we'll do that, you know. So they do that. They go to the Sunray Motel in Miami. It's Tony, his friend Angel, Chi-Chi, and Manolo. So they roll up in there. It's Tony and Angel, and he tells Manolo and Chi-Chi, if we're not out in 15 minutes, something's wrong. So he goes up there. Him and Angel, they go up there, and Hector invites him in. And Tony's like, is it cool if my brother-in-law stays outside? Or whatever the fuck he said. I think it's his brother-in-law. To stay outside. So it's okay. You know. So he goes in. And off the bat, you know, Hector's like, you have the money? And Tony's like, you got the stuff. And Hector's like, yeah, but it's, you know, no, right now. It's close by. Tony's like, it's close by too. Basically, you know what I mean? And that's fucking around, asking him like, wait, where you from, Tony? And Tony's like, what the fuck difference does it make where I'm from, you know? He's just like, where's the shit, you know? Stop fucking around, basically. And when all that shit goes down, dudes come out of nowhere, put the gun to Angel, pat Tony down, they take the gun off Tony, and they fucking tie his homeboy up in a bathtub and start chopping that motherfucker up. Basically, Tony has to watch that shit, and they were gonna chop Tony up too. They, you know, they wanted the money. But Manolo and Chi-Chi make the save, and in that melee, you know, there's a bitch on the bed named Marta, something like that. Manolo kills the bitch, pops the other dudes. Tony tells Chi-Chi, get the yayo. So he does that. Hector fucking flies out the window with his chainsaw, and he got shot too. So he's walking around limping. Tony meets him in the street and fucking blows his cap back, blah, right in the head, shoots him. He takes the coke and the money and brings it to Frank. And he could have just bounced with it, you know what I mean? But he didn't. He bought it to Frank because Tony's a stand-up dude. You know, Omar, he calls Omar and he's like, he's told him he has the coke and the money. And he's like, bring it here. He's like, fuck you. I bring it to Lopez myself, you know, and that's what he does. So he gets to Frank Lopez and he gives him the money and the coke. And Frank fucking, you know, automatically starts, you know, saying this is a real dude. He thinks, you know, this is a real dude. So he invites them to dinner, some shit like that, the Babylon Club, you know. Frank said he's waiting for his chick, which is Michelle Pfeiffer, you know. Who in this movie she's called Elvira. And she comes on an elevator in a green dress, and Tony just looking at her. You know, he knows, you could tell, like, wow, he's smitten. So they go to a club. Frank is teaching them all the, you know, do's and don'ts of the drug business, the cocaine business. And Tony takes heed to that. You know, starts working for fucking Frank Lopez and shit and Omar. So he sends him to Bolivia to make a partnership with, this dude named Sosa. And shit goes well, but Omar doesn't like it because, Tony's butting in and telling him, like, making deals before consulting Frank. And I think Tony was in the right for that, in my opinion, anyway. Because at first he's like 13.5 a key, and Tony's like, "What are you, fucking nuts, man? We gotta take that shit to Florida and shit like that." You know what I mean? And they just come up with a solution how to do business together. And when they go to leave, Sosa tells Omar, "I can have my associates, drop you off or whatever." So before that, he gets a call, and I think the call was, they found out Omar was a snitch. So Omar gets hanged in the fucking out of the helicopter by his fucking neck by a noose and shit. And Sosa questions Tony. He's like, "How I know you're not a Shavano too, Tony?" And Tony just tells him, "All I got in this world is my balls and my word. I don't break them for nobody." He's like, "That piece of shit up there, I never liked him. I never trusted him. He got me set up, and my friend Angel Fernandez killed. So he ain't down with that fuckery. He's a real dude. You feel me?" So yeah, him and Sosa end up doing business together. Tony kind of breaks off from Frank, starts doing his own thing, slanging that yayo. And Frank don't like that shit. He's like, "You made a deal behind my back. Are you crazy, Montana? Are you crazy?" I love that part. It's hilarious, man. It is fucking hilarious. For some reason, I just cracked the fuck up. And he's like, Coño my ass! He's going crazy. It's fucking hilarious. And Tony's like, "I got everything under control. I'll go on the street, make some deals for you. We can do it." And Frank's still pissed the fuck off. You know what I mean? So, and he even says, "What about the Diaz brothers when they want to go to war?" And Tony's like, "Fuck Gaspar Gomez and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers. Fuck them all. I bury those cockroaches." Oh, it's so dope. I love that scene. Love that scene. And him and Frank just stopped doing business together. Then he walks up to fucking Frank's bitch, Elvira, and he tells her, "We need to be together. Frank is finished. That guy's through." She thinks about it. They go to the Babylon Club, and out of nowhere, fucking Tony gets grilled by this dirty cop named Mel Bernstein, and he's like talking to him about, we'll make a deal, and I'll tell you who's moving and stuff, and I got guys that can hit on them when they're trying to move in on you and stuff like that. And he just grown them and shit, tells him to buy him and his wife first class tickets to London or some shit. And Tony's like, "What the fuck?" And he tells Tony tells Manolo, "Yo, this motherfucker got Bernstein on me, man. Frank Lopez got this motherfucker on me. And Elvira's there. Tony goes to Elvira and tells him, he's like, "You thought about what I said?" And she's like, "You're really nuts, Tony." And Frank comes up to him, and Frank's like, "Hey, find your own girl." And Tony's like, "That's what I'm doing." It's funny as fuck. And he tells him, "That's orders, blow." And Tony's like, "You'll give orders? The only thing that gives me orders is balls, So that don't go well. He tells Elvira to leave. She leaves with him. And then Tony sees his sister, Gina, who was introduced earlier in the film. When he went to his mother's house, gave her some like $1,000. The mom didn't like it because she's a hard-working Cuban. She thinks Tony's a fucking piece of shit, basically, And he loves his sister, you can tell, man. And she goes in the fucking bathroom with this fucking drug dealer ass dude, and Tony don't like that. He fucking takes the dude, throws him out, and tells her, you know, you don't be in the toilet with this motherfucker and stuff like that. And she's like, I'll see whoever I want to see, and if I want to fuck him, I'll fuck him or something like that. Tony just smacks the bitch in the face. Blow. Fucking, she got out of hand there. Then Tony goes down, sits down, have a drink. Sees this fucking, like, dancing comedian dude with a mask. Octavio, I think his name is. And you see these two suspicious Cuban dudes just sitting there. Under their napkins, they got some fucking Uzis or some shit, right? So, once the club starts getting rowdy, that's when he starts shooting shit up. Like, once that clown dude starts dancing and shit, they start shooting shit up, try to shoot at Tony, you know, basically. And they get him in the arm, I believe. But Tony ends up killing him. Well, killing one of them, maybe. Yeah, pretty sure he killed one of them. Because the other guy was still shooting at Tony, bucking at him, and Tony ducking, trying to get the fuck out the way. But the fucking lights fell on his back. I don't know, maybe he didn't die. I don't know about that cat, but obviously, Frank Lopez did the hit. So fucking Tony goes, you know, to Frank. And Frank's on the phone talking about how his little league team won the division. And he's talking, unbeknownst to him, Tony, Chi-Chi, and Manolo are coming in. So when they come in, he looks shocked. Tries to play it off, even know what the fuck's going on. Like, Tony, what happened to you, you know? And Tony just tells him, you know, plays it off, you know. Hitters, I guess, you know. And Frank's just suggesting who it was. And before this, Tony told his homeboy, Nick, the pig, he's like, yo, call Lopez's office and tell him we fucked up, they got away, you know, so Tony is making him think it's the hitman, you know what I mean? So the phone call happens and Frank tries to play it off like a bitch, saying it's Elvira, but it's not. And Tony's like, you know what, you're a piece of shit. You know what a hostage is, Frank? You know, classic scene. Frank begs for his fucking life, even offers to give him Elvira. Tony's like, fuck off. But then he's like, I ain't gonna kill you. Manolo, shoot that piece of shit. Manolo shoots Frank, kills him. Then Tony sits down and kills Mel Bernstein, because Mel was in the office. And Mel set that whole shit up with fucking Frank. So he killed his ass too. They leave. Tony wakes up Elvira, and Tony blows the fuck up. There's a big montage in the film where it pushes it to the limit playing in the background, which I love. And it's you know, Tony getting married to Elvira. Tony got his own retail company. His sister Gina got her own hair salon, I believe. This match is blown up for Tony. Mad shit. And everything's going well. And then after that, Tony has a problem with one of his banks and shit like that. So Tony starts like laundering money. You know, money laundering. And he got hooked up with this Jewish guy named Ciderbomb from Manolo. And while they're doing the money with them, Ciderbomb's an undercover fucking cop. And this big ass tall Cuban dude with him. So him and Tony and Chi-Chi get caught. And Tony's lawyer says, you know, you might do 5 years. Tony's like, fuck that, I ain't go back in that fucking cage, man, you know? So after that, Sosa has Tony come to Bolivia. And I guess there's this reporter dude that is scheming in on all the local, you know, drug dealers and stuff and dirty fucking people down there, and they want him gone. You know, Sosa and his friends, Sosa and his associates, they want this guy killed, so they have Tony do the job. You know, this guy's getting big. He's like everywhere, even on Japanese television. So he's a problem. So what they do is they have Tony and this dude that works for Sosa go to New York to take this motherfucker out. The bomb. They put a bomb under his car. And Tony pulls the drive there while the dude presses the fucking shit and it blows up. So Tony's in a car with dude. And fucking Tony don't want to kill no kids or woman, and he sees the guy's wife and his kids go in the car with him. And Tony's like, man, I can't live with this. You told me there was no fucking kids. And Cheech is like, yeah, boss, I thought there was no kids. But nope. There was kids. Tony didn't want to kill no kids. Tony likes kids, you know, he even said it's Elvira. So, there was kids there. Tony and the wife. Tony didn't want to do it. And Tony told the dude, you die, motherfucker. Shoots him right in the fucking head. Blows his brains out on the windshield. And he's like, I told you, man, no fucking kids. But you wouldn't listen. You know? Look at you now. Love that. So dope. I like, you die, motherfucker. I love that scene. So dope. Then he gets back to the mansion. First he calls Nick on the payphone. He's like, yo, you see Manolo? He's like, no, he's not there. Because Manolo left. He was fucking with Gina. Gonna marry Gina. And Tony told him earlier, you know. I don't want... No, that's my sister, motherfucker. You know what I mean? But, yeah. Tony gets back to Miami and raises fucking hell. His mom calls, says Gina's missing, so he's like, I'm gonna find her. What else? Sosa calls to say that they found what was underneath the car, and he didn't do the job. He killed Sosa's man instead. It was a big fuck up. He said, don't you ever fuck me. He told him, don't ever fuck me, Tony, you know? And Tony fucked him over, but I think Tony was in the right too, you know what I mean? But, they get into a big argument, you know? And Tony knows it's time to go to war, basically. You know what I mean? I told you a long time ago, you fucking little monkey, not to, you know that part? And he's like, Tony just like, explodes on him, you know what I mean? So you want to go to war? So he goes to find Gina. She's in Coconut Grove in some fancy place. And who enters the door? Manolo, Tony's right-hand man. He sees him in a robe and sees his sister coming downstairs. Tony loses it and just fucking murders his friend right there. Blasts him right there. Gina's all hysterical. Ernie, I think one of Tony's workers, and Nick, the pig, they fucking they pick up Gina, bring her to the car. She's in a fucking purple robe. Tony's snorting hella blow. As soon as he came back to New York, then this nigga is snorting hella coke, so he is ooted out of his mind. Fucking, he gets back to his mansion or whatever. By this time on the surveillance, you can see all Sosa's dudes just running right through there. All of his dudes running through there, man. And fucking, you know, Gina comes back and she thinks that Tony liked her in some fucking way, in love with his own sister, but it wasn't like that. He was like overprotective. That's all he was. And she starts blasting at Tony. She actually shoots him in the leg. But by this time, one of Sosa's men is up in Tony's house and he shoots Gina. So Tony sees that, fucking tackles dude falls in the pool, and Tony just fucking unloads on his ass. Tony is coked out of his fucking skull right now. He's crying when he sees Gina. He's fucking out of it. He's like trying to wake her up. She's dead. You know, he don't know that. He lost it. So, he's all coked the fuck out. Sosa's men are killing motherfuckers. One of the dudes kills Nick. And then, Tony's like, you want to go to war? He gets all the guns ready and shit. And Chi-Chi gets fucking murdered. He's trying to tell Tony, open the fucking door, you know? But he gets shot. And, fucking Tony sees that and he's like, oh, fuck this, man. He gets his big ass gun out. You know, the famous line, say hello to my little friend. Blows them niggas to smithereens. Starts walking around, bucking everybody down, putting the murder game down on anyone in sight. He gets shot. He still manages to fucking blast motherfuckers away again. Then he's talking shit, taking hella bullets, saying, you know, come on, you know, I'm Tony Montana. You fucking with the best, you know. Then unfortunately, he gets shot in the back, and fucking falls in the fountain above the world is yours globe, and he dies. So this just goes to show you that, you gotta be on your toes when you're in that business. And Tony fucked up by sniffing his own supply and becoming a cokehead. You can't do that. You can't do that. So this is a review of my favorite movie of all time, Scarface, played by the great Al Pacino. An amazing actor. I love Al Pacino. And I want to get a Blu-ray steelbook of this. It's a fantastic movie. Absolutely enjoy it. So there you go. Expect more movie reviews and stuff like that. Story times and all that. So hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.